The ash tree is a fundamental species in the Vermont landscape. This beautiful tree has a massive crown and stands prominent on many Vermont properties. However, that is soon going to change due to the emerald ash borer. Here at Teachers Tree Service, we can provide you all of the essential steps you need to help save your ash trees and keep your property beautiful. An ash tree is identified by its opposite branch structure. This means that every branch and leaf branches out at the exact same spot from the main branch as the other ones. This is easily identifiable in the fact that there are only 3 species of trees in the region that have this, and these are maple, ashes, and dogwoods. Yeah, ash trees also have pinnate leaves, which means a leaf is one stem with multiple leaflets coming off of it, which is much easier to identify in the leaf season. In the winter, you can tell an ash by the buds, which are brown Hershey Kiss type buds, and they look pretty similar but vary between different species of ash trees. Another easy way to identify them is by the diamond furrows of the bark. This is how the structure of the bark moves. Ash trees usually have a fairly large crown that encompasses the entire tree if it's open growth, like the one behind me, or if it's grown in the woods, it'll have a pretty thin crown and just straight up. Emerald ash borer is identifiable in many ways, but you most likely won't see the insect itself. The key feature that you'll see is D-shaped holes that are about 1/4 inch in size from where the borer enters and exits the tree. Another way to see is woodpecker flecking, which is when a woodpecker lands on the tree and pulls the bark off to try and get to the borer to eat. Another key feature will be the S-shaped curves underneath the bark of where the borer goes into the tree and eats its way up. These S-shaped curves and the tunnels that remain there after the borer is gone is what ultimately kills the tree by cutting off all of the flow. This means water and nutrients cannot get from the ground through the roots up into the leaves, and this is ultimately what kills the tree. The borer itself looks like this, which is a little tiny green bug with wings and can fly around. This bug can spread up to 40 miles per season and can spread to any ash tree in the area. It only affects ash trees, so if you find borer holes on another tree, it's some other type of borer. Emerald ash borer entered the United States in 2002 through a port in Detroit, Michigan. Since then, it has spread to 35 different states across the north and northeast. This insect infects all types of ash trees, whether it's black ash, white ash, or green ash. Emerald ash borer is fairly new to Vermont, arriving here in the past few years, but for the most part has stayed on the corners of Vermont. Some initial hotspots were Grand Isle County, the 89 corridor coming in from White River Junction, the southeast corner of Vermont, and most recently it was discovered in Richmond in October of 2020. This shows that as it's spreading throughout the state, it is encroaching Chittenden County, which is where Teachers Tree Service can come in handy. You might be wondering why you don't want ash trees on your property, and there are many reasons for this. The biggest reason is for safety. A 10-inch branch on an ash tree that would be healthy has the strength of a 1-inch branch when infected by emerald ash borer. This means any strong winds or ice can easily knock branches out and destroy property. Another main reason for having ash trees on your property is the aesthetics of them. They're beautiful trees and are major landmarks of your property. Most people that have them don't want to lose them because they make the house look so good. Along with this is the economic value. Having large mature ash trees will increase your property value, as well as provide fresh air and water to your property. At Teachers Tree Service, we have many different ways of dealing with your ash trees. The best way that we have is using mectonite. This is an insecticide that is directed injectly into the ash trees and only affects the emerald ash borer. What it does is builds a tolerance within the tree of the insecticide that the borer cannot ingest, and that kills it. This insecticide has to be reapplied every 2 to 3 years in order to keep the tree healthy, but is extremely effective when applied. This insecticide cannot be applied when a tree is already infected with the emerald ash borer, so it's best to apply it before you see any signs of infection in the area. With the borer being in Richmond, that means it's gonna be within the rest of Chittenden County within the next 2 or 3 years, which means you should act soon if you're looking to save your ash trees. Another way that we can treat your ash trees is with removal. Removal is just cutting the trees down so that borer will not be able to affect them and it won't be able to spread to the rest of your property. This is done if you don't want to reapply mectonite every 2 years, so it'll just get the ashes out. Obviously, this is going to lower the aesthetic value of having an ash tree because you won't have an ash tree anymore. The removal when a tree is already infected is the best way to deal with ash trees because we run the trees through our wood chipper, which destroys any chance of the insect spreading. It destroys the larvae and the adult phases. And dumping chips is relatively safe, even if they are infected with emerald ash borer. Any more questions about emerald ash borer or need a quote on some ash trees on your property, feel free to give Teachers Tree Service a call at 802-922-3428. Remember, here at Teachers, we're the emerald ash borer experts of Vermont.